You are being robbed right now. Every year, you lose 19 microseconds of your life, stolen by a cold, dead rock hanging in the sky. 19 microseconds. Sounds meaningless. It is not. That celestial thief is the moon, and she is slowing us down, patiently, eternally. We used to scream through space. 4 hours. That was the length of a day, 3 billion years ago. Imagine that kinetic terror. Dawn, midday, dusk, midnight, done. You had 4 hours to hunt, to mate, to hide, to survive. This isn't just astronomy. This is evolutionary brutality captured in stone. Everything that defines life on Earth, our metabolism, our sleep cycles, the rigid structure of our DNA, was forged in the crucible of time constraints. We think we conquered the planet. We didn't. We just adapted to the clock the moon set for us. We are nothing more than sophisticated apes whose intelligence is merely a complex reaction to a stimulus. The predictable rhythmic grinding of tidal friction. No moon, no tides, no tides, no long days. No long days. Maybe no complex intelligence because the selection pressure was too fast, too immediate. The ancient 4-hour day demanded pure, exhausting brute force, relentless energy expenditure, no rest, only reaction. That spinning planet didn't give a damn about comfort. It was harsh, it was volatile. But the 24-hour day? That duration bred thinkers. That allowed for metabolic efficiency. That allowed us to stop reacting for 5 minutes and actually plan the hunt. Look at the mechanism of the theft itself. The Earth spins aggressively. The moon orbits placidly. The moon's gravity drags our oceans, creating a tidal bulge. The planet tries desperately to spin past that bulge, but friction is a harsh mistress, a merciless anchor. That friction is what slows the rotation, dumping angular momentum out into the lunar orbit. The Earth sacrifices precious rotational speed. The moon gains distance. She is drifting away at 3.8 centimeters per year. Pathetic, slow, inevitable. But that inevitability is everything. Every centimeter of lunar retreat is a victory for complex life on this pale blue dot. It bought us time, and time, you realize, is the only currency that matters. If you are the kind of person who needs to know the absolute mechanical truth behind the human story, who values cold physics over comfortable narrative, then you already know where you belong. We follow the math. Our current 24-hour cycle is the sweet spot. It is an anomaly in the entire history of this planet. It's the perfect duration for the massive, power-hungry human brain to function, demanding restorative darkness and extended sunlight for resource gathering and collaboration. If the day was still 6 hours, the sheer energy cost of maintaining our enormous, demanding neural architecture would be unsustainable. We would be quick, dumb predators, burning out fast. Short life, fast burn. The moon's slow, deliberate theft allowed us the ultimate luxury. The deep, inefficient thought required to build a civilization. It allowed us to waste time on abstract concepts. That's the real deal. The moon stole our rotational speed, and in return, we got culture, philosophy, and the agonizing question of what it all means. But you must understand this deeper truth. We are still slaves to the clock, and the clock is still being manipulated by an external force we cannot control. We just got really good at pretending we are autonomous. We are not. We are defined by the cycle, and that cycle is shifting. Are we prepared for the day to hit 25 hours? You better be. The universe doesn't negotiate based on your comfort zone. It dictates reality. You think the 24-hour day is some divine content, some ironclad law of nature, tailored specifically for your 9-to-5 grind. It is not. It is merely the fleeting equilibrium of a cosmic debt that is constantly being repaid. We built global capitalism, every religion that mandates prayer times, every supply chain that relies on clockwork precision, entirely around this unstable sweet spot. Look closer. Every algorithm, every server farm, every flickering screen assuming peak daytime performance. It all runs on a 24-hour assumption. Now, what happens when that assumption fails? Slowly. Yes. But the universe doesn't negotiate based on your fiscal year. It dictates reality through slow, crushing physics. That continued drift, those centimeters the moon steals every year, translates to milliseconds of extra spin time. Milliseconds become minutes. Minutes become hours. The shift is imperceptible on a human timescale, but that imperceptibility is the deadliest lie. It lulls us into a fatal complacency. Think about the implications. Our internal clock, the master circadian rhythm that governs hormone release, sleep cycles, and cognitive performance, is brutally optimized for 24 hours and a handful of minutes. Maybe 24.2, depending on the individual. It is an evolutionary masterpiece, dialed into the exact orbital resonance Earth currently offers. A 25-hour day is not just an inconvenience. It is a biological death sentence for human productivity. Shift workers already live this hell, fighting their own sun, perpetually off sync. They are the early warning system. They are the canaries in the cosmic coal mine, telling us what happens when you fight millions of years of tidal optimization, when you fight the gravitational pull that structured the very neural pathways allowing you to calculate the trajectory of the moon in the first place. You're fighting yourself. We are biologically inflexible, rigidly tuned instruments, yet we live on a cosmically mutable instrument that keeps changing its tune. That is the ultimate dark joke of civilization. We call it jet lag when the shift is temporary. When the lag is planetary and permanent, we call it societal collapse. We cannot stretch our sleep, our wakefulness, or our focus by an entire hour without massive systemic biological burnout. We are creatures of the sunlight maximum. We are creatures of the necessary restorative darkness. Adding an hour throws the whole intricate machine into chaos. It demands an hour more energy expenditure, an hour more resource gathering, an hour less deep REM sleep. Where does that hour come from? It comes from the reservoir of human sanity. It comes from the ability to generate complex creative thought. If you find yourself nodding, recognizing that the foundation of our apparent stability is pure, elegant, terrifying chaos, stay close. We dismantle comforting lies here. We need people who understand the real forces driving the drama. Now pause and look at deep history. When the day was 6 hours, life was bacterial sludge. Simple, violent, unthinking. As the rotation slowed, life got complex, demanding more sophisticated machinery to process information across longer daylight cycles. We used the extra time to develop a prefrontal cortex that is a monument to inefficiency, burning vast amounts of glucose just thinking about thinking. That inefficiency is culture. That inefficiency is art. It is philosophy. It is what separates us from quick, 6-hour predators. But that evolutionary adaptation cuts both ways. We have now hit the ceiling. The moment we cross into 25 hours, that inefficiency becomes a liability. We cannot afford the extra downtime needed to process the extra wake time. The brain will begin to degrade under the continuous mild stress of fighting the astronomical clock. The irony is vicious. The moon created us through rotational deceleration, gifting us the time necessary for high-level consciousness. Yet that very gift is designed to kill us in the long run. It is an engine of creation and inevitable destruction, operating on a time frame so vast we struggle to comprehend it. We see the 3.8 centimeters and shrug. We are too focused on the stock market closing time to feel the slow, heavy breath of the cosmos against our necks. But feel it. We are defined by the cycle, and when the cycle shifts beyond our biological capacity, we break. Don't think for a second we can just slap an extra hour into the schedule, adjusting our apps and calendars. You cannot negotiate with your pineal gland. You cannot send a memo to your mitochondria telling them to produce 4% more energy without consequence. We would see a spike in neurological disorders, a collapse in sustained attention spans, and a total reconfiguration of global energy demand. The entire infrastructure of modern life would be fighting a losing battle against the ticking of a planetary clock that simply refuses to cooperate with the established norms of human convenience. The universe doesn't care about the convenience. The moon demands its tribute, And that tribute is our perfectly balanced 24-hour day. Get ready for the exhaustion. It is coming. It is baked into the physics of our existence. Forget sleep debt. We are talking sanity debt. The former is recoverable with the weekend nap. The latter is permanent neurological trauma induced by the slow turning of the cosmos. We rely on the 4-hour cognitive decompression cycle, the psychological buffer zone, separating one 12-hour surge of wakefulness from the next. When that margin shrinks, everything cracks, everything shatters. Productivity doesn't merely fall off a cliff, empathy vanishes. When a species is chronically cosmically exhausted, it becomes brittle, it becomes cruel. No resource management system, no governmental mandate, no app designed by Silicon Valley geniuses can fix the chemical reaction inside your skull when the light pollution hits your retinas for 60 extra minutes every day. You are fighting the sun itself. You cannot win that war. The biological clock, the suprachiasmatic nucleus buried deep in your hypothalamus, it defends the 24-hour cycle with the fury of an ancient god. It is stubborn. It is rigid. It is the living echo of the moment life stabilized on this planet. A hard-won equilibrium against the chaos of faster rotation. That equilibrium is about to fail. If you feel that unsettling truth vibrating deep in your gut, the reality that comfort is a lie and physics is the only king, then you understand why we exist here. This is where truth lives. Join the few who choose to look at the shadows. The fight isn't just about sleep, it's about hormonal dominance. Cortisol spikes, melatonin suppression fails. Every cell in your body runs 4% harder, 4% longer, without the commensurate energy input. You don't get an extra hour of life. You get an extra hour of oxidative stress. Think about it. The 24-hour cycle is an inherited memory, a fossil record etched into every organism alive. It took billions of years for the planetary spin to slow down from a scorching 6 hours to this perfect, fragile 24. That transition wasn't smooth. It was a history of mass extinctions, of species that couldn't recalibrate their internal clocks fast enough. They died tired. We are now flirting with the upper limits of mammalian adaptation. The SCN will try to stretch, desperately holding on to its schedule, but the signals from the environment will overwhelm it. Sunlight exposure becomes discordant. The internal rhythm detaches from the external reality. This detachment is known scientifically as chronic jet lag, but applied to every single human being simultaneously. Civilization grinds to a halt. We become a species perpetually stumbling through airport security at 3 a.m. If this level of unvarnished analysis, connecting cosmology to your cortisol levels, is the depth you crave, then it's time to secure your place in this community. We track the things that actually matter. The financial markets won't collapse because of a recession. They will seize because the brokers are too tired to execute trades correctly. We would see catastrophic institutional errors simply because focused, multitasking attention requires deep reserves of neural energy that the 25-hour day has irrevocably depleted. Every complex system relies on vigilance. Every complex system will fail. Don't believe the optimistic chatter about human resilience. Resilience is a resource, and that resource is finite. We will prioritize survival over sophistication. The arts? Gone. Complex scientific research? Reduced to short bursts of exhausted confusion. The ability to plan decades ahead? The very hallmark of civilization? Impossible when the cognitive horizon shrinks to, can I make it to the next coffee? This isn't theoretical doom-mongering. This is observing the clear, measurable consequences of mild sleep deprivation scaled up to 7 billion people fighting a battle they are programmed to lose. We will become stupider. We will become meaner. We will become short-sighted, incapable of managing the long-term infrastructural crises that require precisely the kind of sustained, focused attention we will have sacrificed to the moon's gravity. The moon is not merely pulling the tides. It is pulling on the structure of our intelligence. It is demanding a tax we cannot pay. We will respond with irrationality, paranoia, and deep, profound societal unrest. Look at history. The most chaotic periods of human existence correlate perfectly with resource scarcity and chronic stress. Imagine stress built into the rotation itself. You cannot escape it by moving to a new time zone. There is no escape. The entire planet is the new time zone. The only thing that moves slower than the rotation of the Earth is humanity's ability to prepare for its predictable, deadly consequences. We refuse to internalize the inevitability of this disaster. We simply hit snooze on the cosmological alarm clock. Big mistake. The final damning verdict is this. The 25-hour day is not an extra hour of productivity. It is the first hour of our permanent decline. The perfect biological machine forged in the crucible of planetary dynamics will simply lose its tune. The greatest evolutionary success story ends not with a bang, but with a yawn. A massive, species-wide, irreversible yawn. This is the critical mistake. Thinking of ourselves as fundamentally adaptive. We aren't. We are specialists. We are complex apes. Highly specialized for one very specific set of planetary parameters. Forged under the relentless, perfect, 24-hour hammer of evolution. Change the hammer even slightly, and the tool breaks. You can build 1,000 self-driving cars, you can upload 1 billion terabytes of human history, but none of it matters when the foundation, the synchronized human brain, begins to wobble. The neocortex, the part that writes poetry and calculates orbital mechanics, that's the first luxury item the body jettisons when resources are tight. And chronic sleep disruption is the ultimate resource crisis. When the cycle stretches, you don't become smarter about managing time. You become primal about managing threat. The 25-hour day will strip away the veneer of civilization layer by agonizing layer, exposing the frightened, irritable animal beneath. That animal doesn't negotiate. It doesn't cooperate. It hoards, snaps, and retreats into suspicion. Look around you now. Every great societal fracture, every moment when the collective trust failed, was precipitated by chronic, pervasive stress. Now imagine that stress is literally mandated by the laws of physics. Guaranteed, inescapable, and slow. Very slow. The irony is vicious. We will not be killed by cosmic radiation or super-intelligent AI. We will be undone by boredom and exhaustion. Our greatest works, the infrastructure, the power grids, the political treaties requiring decades of stable planning, will degrade simply because no one has the sustained, focused attention span to maintain them anymore. Maintenance is the ghost of civilization, and that ghost requires consistent sleep. We become incapable of long-term thinking because we are physically incapable of sustained consciousness at the level required. You won't solve the climate crisis when your hippocampus is actively rotting from sleep phase misalignment. You won't fix the damn roads when your cortisol levels keep you permanently jittery and paranoid. The 25-hour clock is not a challenge for humanity to overcome. It is an evolutionary test we are currently failing in slow motion. We are witnessing the ultimate biological defeat. We have reached the peak of technological capability, only to realize that our physical hardware has a hard limit, a factory setting we cannot override. The moon, that quiet, pale executioner in the night sky, isn't just dictating the oceans. It is dictating our collapse. It is taxing our attention span, and every single day, the human race is sliding further into debt. We try to fight it with coffee, with blue light filters, with sheer, stubborn human willpower. Futile efforts. Willpower is just another chemical reaction that falters when the circadian rhythm breaks. The brutal final verdict is simple. The 25-hour day guarantees not the evolution of a better human, but a regression to a less sophisticated, more volatile one. We will keep the internet, but we won't remember why we built it. We will keep the cities, but we will forget how to manage them. The slow, predictable stretching of time ensures that the defining characteristic of the coming centuries will be not advancement, but atrophy. We didn't need an apocalypse. We just needed the Earth to slow down by one crucial, fatal hour. The perfect biological machine forged for 24 hours finally loses the rhythm. It shudders. It stalls. And the silence that follows will be the sound of 7 billion exhausted minds finally giving up the fight against the clock. The age of complexity is over. Sleep well. We think we are thinkers. Wrong. We are merely sophisticated biological reactors. Our consciousness, our pride, is nothing more than optimized 24-hour chemistry, and that chemistry has gone sour. If you push a processor past its thermal limit, it doesn't solve faster. It corrupts the data. That's us, sitting here, arrogant and awake, trying to logic our way out of a primal cellular meltdown. Forget the great philosophical questions. The true enemy is adenosine, and it keeps rising. When the brain can't clean itself, it turns inward. It becomes suspicious. It becomes volatile. The inevitable result of chronic systematic sleep debt is not just lethargy. It is tribalism. It is a profound reduction in the capacity for abstract thought. You cease being Homo sapiens, the wise man, and become merely a highly agitated ape, clutching a smartphone. We are watching the active rewinding of millions of years of cognitive sophistication, all because the light cycles no longer match the internal timer. Every societal failure you observe, the petty squabbles, the stunning inability to plan beyond the next fiscal quarter, the frantic zero-sum pursuit of fleeting comfort, is symptomatic of a species running on fumes. We are witnessing the ultimate degradation of bandwidth. You cannot build a complex future when you cannot sustain complex thought. You cannot operate a civilization built on reason when your neurology demands raw, unthinking reaction. We didn't evolve to be stressed. We evolved to be efficient. And a 25-hour planet renders us instantly inefficient. This is not a social dilemma. This is a factory defect, exposed by the slowing rotation of the machine we inhabit. There is no great war coming to end us. No asteroid strike needed. The failure is internal, inherent, and already baked into the timeline. Look at the clock. Hear the silence between the seconds. That silence is the pause, the deep cosmic breath before the final permanent blackout. The human experiment was fantastic, audacious even, but it ran out of battery life. What remains will not be a golden age of enlightenment. It will be a flicker, a fading memory of light, sinking into the long, cool darkness. The lights are off. Good night. The verdict is simple. Survival is not measured in GDP or stock market performance. It is measured in neurochemistry. We thought we had transcended the jungle. Foolish. We simply built a jungle of concrete and fiber optics, one that demands continuous, unsustainable processing. We chose the glowing screen over the healing darkness. That choice was the fatal flaw. The biological debt incurred has now become the final mortgage on our species. Paid in full. We are not failing due to a lack of wisdom. We are failing due to a lack of deep REM. That capacity for quiet, restorative complexity was the only mechanism that truly separated us from the animals. Now, look around. See the rage. Observe the stunning lack of patience. What you are witnessing is the inevitable, biological reversion to the mean. It's the tired animal instinct overriding the temporarily conscious self. You, sitting there, calculating your next move. You think you are an agent of free will. You are not. You are a chemical reaction, governed by a sleep cycle that you personally broke. The moment you chose to keep scrolling past the internal curfew, you signed away your seat at the table of advanced civilization. The future we imagined, the space stations, the cures for aging, the philosophical breakthroughs, required focus, required clarity, required rest. We denied ourselves the fuel. So, let the great thinkers argue about the meaning of life. The reality is far less noble. The machine simply overheated. The operating system crashed, and now the highest function of the modern human animal is merely to sustain the energy to complain about the crash. This is the end state of perpetual exhaustion. Not fire, but a dim, flickering outage. The experiment is over. Sleep well.